In January 2001, Lesnar was arrested in Louisville, Kentucky on suspicion of possession of a large quantity of illegal drugs. The charges were dropped when the drugs were revealed to be legitimate hormones. His lawyer described it as a vitamin-like thing. Lesnar had previously signed a non-compete agreement to be released from his contract with WWE, which prohibited him from working for any other professional wrestling company until June 2010. He contested the decision in court. In 2004, Lesnar violated his contract by appearing on a New Japan Pro Wrestling show, which WWE denied. In July 2005, both sides dropped their claims and began negotiations to restore relations. WWE had offered Lesnar a contract, but on August 2nd, it was reported on their official website that Lesnar had withdrawn from any association with the company. The lawsuit was entered into settlement negotiations on September 21st, but it has not been resolved. On January 14, 2006, Judge Christopher Droney announced that unless WWE presented him with a good argument between now and the 25th, he would rule in Lesnar's favor and grant him summary judgment. This would allow Lesnar to immediately work from anywhere. WWE later received permission to postpone the deadline. On April 24th, the two sides reached a settlement. On June 12th, a federal judge dismissed the case at the request of both legal parties. On December 15, 2011, Lesnar was charged with a hunting violation during a trip to Alberta on November 19, 2010. Two charges were dropped, but Lesnar pleaded guilty to a charge of improperly tagging an animal. He was fined $1,725 and suspended from hunting for 6 months. Wait a minute, let us start from the beginning. Brock Edward Lesnar was born on July 12, 1977 in Webster, South Dakota, to Stephanie Lesnar and Richard Lesnar. He is of German descent and grew up on his parents' dairy farm in Webster. He has two older brothers named Troy and Chad and a younger sister named Brandy. At 17, he joined the Army National Guard and was assigned to office work because his red-green color blindness was believed to hinder his desire to work in explosives. He was fired after passing a computer typing test and later worked for a construction company. As a professional wrestler, he was signed to WWE, where he was designated a free agent in a storyline that allowed him to appear on the Raw and SmackDown brands. However, he took a break from August 2023. Lesnar is generally considered one of the most prolific martial artists in the world, the only person to have held titles with WWE, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NJPW, the Inoki Genome Federation Junior Heavyweight Champion, IGF, and the National College Sports Associations, NCAA. Lesnar wrestled in college at the University of Minnesota and won the NCAA Division I National Championship in 2000. He quickly rose to prominence in the industry, signing with the World Wrestling Federation, BWF, renamed WWE in 2002, and winning the WWE Championship in mid-2002, setting a record as the youngest member to win the championship. In 2004, Lesnar left WWE to join the Minnesota Vikings of the National Football League, NFL, but was cut from the team during the preseason. In 2005, he returned to wrestling and signed with NJPW, where he won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Lesnar later left NJPW and became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion at IGF before taking a hiatus from wrestling to pursue a career in mixed martial arts, MMA. Years later in 2012, he re-signed with WWE. His first WWE Universal Championship reign lasted 504 days, the 7th longest title reign in the history of the sport, and he holds the record for most Universal Championship reigns with 3. He has also won the Royal Rumble match twice, 2003 and 2022, the Money in the Bank ladder, 2019, the King of the Rings Championship 2002, and has headlined numerous pay-per-view events, including WWE 5. Leading WrestleMania events, WrestleMania 19, 31, 34, 36, and 38, 9 Summer Slams, 2002, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2029, and 20, also ended 20 undefeated streak of The Undertaker at WrestleMania in 2014. Lesnar left WWE after WrestleMania 20, citing burnout, injuries, poor creative decisions, alcohol and painkiller addictions, and a heavy touring schedule. At UFC 77 on October 20th, Lesnar joined the Ultimate Fighting Championship in a one-fight deal. On February 2nd, 2008, Lesnar made his debut for the promotion at an event titled UFC 81 Breaking Point against former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir. Because of his large hands, Lesnar wore 4XL gloves during the fight, making him the second person in Nevada martial arts history to wear such gloves after Choi Hongman. Lesnar took Mir down early and started throwing some punches, but one shot caught Mir in the back of the head and was penalized by 1 point. He took his opponent down again and continued to land punches before Mir landed a neckbreaker and forced a submission at 1:30 of the first round. Despite losing his debut, he was offered a new contract, and on March 1st at UFC 82, former UFC heavyweight champion and Hall of Famer Mark Coleman was announced to face Rice at UFC 87. Coleman left the game with an injury and was replaced by Heath Herring. Lesnar dominated the first round with an early knockout and a 30-26 unanimous decision victory on all 3 judges' scorecards. Lesnar then fought Randy Couture for the UFC Heavyweight Championship on November 15th at UFC 91. He rejected Couture's takedown attempts and kicked him, eventually taking him down and landing hard punches until he earned a TKO and the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Lesnar's next title defense was against undefeated top contender Cain Velasquez at UFC 121 on October 23rd at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Dana White announced via Sports Nation that the UFC would return to UFC Primetime to promote the fight. Lesnar overpowered his opponent by landing heavy knees in the first round, but eventually succumbed to Velasquez's great punch and was TKO'd at the end of the round. In the summer of 2011, Lesnar announced his return to the ring, and his rematch was scheduled for December 30th at UFC 141 in Las Vegas against former Strikeforce heavyweight champion Alistair Overeem. Lesnar tried to take Overeem down, but to no avail, landing heavy punches on his surgically repaired stomach before eventually being taken down with liver kicks and punches. Lesnar then retired from MMA, citing a battle with diverticulitis, saying, "Tonight is the last time you're going to see me in the octagon." However, on July 7th, 2018, Lesnar stormed the cage after the UFC 226 main event to challenge new UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. On July 8th, the United States Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, confirmed that Lesnar had begun re-entering the drug testing pool. UFC officials reportedly targeted a UFC heavyweight fight between Lesnar and Daniel Cormier, but Dana White claims Lesnar told him he was over MMA, so the fight ended. It didn't happen. Furthermore, there are many reasons why Brock Lesnar is the most hated fighter in the UFC and WWE. His outspoken, stubborn, and gritty attitude often robbed him of the common traits of a professional MMA fighter. Lesnar says whatever comes to mind, never backs down from the media, and shows no respect for his legendary opponent's historic achievements. Time and time again, fans refused to accept Lesnar for who he was. A dynamic figure with vigor and sheer athleticism that can do almost anything on the move. There's nothing better than hating fighters who talk trash. Okay, maybe watch them fail, but other than that, nothing like that. That's why the bad guys of MMA like Chael Sonnen, Rashad Evans, and Michael Bisping, who all compete on UFC on Fox 2, and others are very popular. These guys are important to the sport. Their comments, interviews, and trash talk, along with the hate fans feel for these things, elevates the sport beyond the norm. But aside from those 3, is there any boxer with more of a take-nothing mentality than Brock Lesnar? Not really. That's why Lesnar is the fighter he is today. Fans love to hate this guy. Lesnar's persona allows fans to engage with the UFC on a whole other level, from octagon toes to, "Do you see me now?" comments now. Brock Lesnar's WWE career after he was identified in a sex trafficking lawsuit filed against Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. The future is still mysterious. Lesnar, a former UFC heavyweight champion, was involved in active contract negotiations with WWE and was promised sex with a lady, according to Janelle Grant's complaint when he signed again. A local press later directly identified Lesnar as the featured talent, and he was reportedly cut from creative plans for the WrestleMania season, which featured a match against Intercontinental Champion Gunther at the show within the show finish. Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time and has been incredibly dominant throughout his career. Over the years, he has been portrayed as a beast that is terrifying to most. Lesnar destroyed people in the ring, and the fact that he was a very private person meant that fans didn't know much about his real life. As a result, many fans just think Lesnar is scary and don't actually believe he's a good guy. That's not the case though. Despite all of Beast's accomplishments, he's a good guy deep down. Number 1, Brock Lesnar. Looked out for Paul Heyman, WWE, and Paul Heyman feuded for years after the ECW experiment failed. Heyman continued to pursue his business goals after retiring from wrestling. Brock Lesnar returned to WWE in 2012, making for an amazing return for the crazy talent. Rumor has it that Lesnar wanted Heyman back with him because he felt most comfortable with his associate. A friendship developed between the two during their time away from WWE, with Brock apparently using his power to recruit his friend. Number 2, Brock Lesnar went to the hospital with The Undertaker. The defining moment of Brock Lesnar's professional wrestling career came at WrestleMania 30 when he ended The Undertaker's undefeated streak. Unfortunately, as a result of the violence during the match, The Undertaker suffered a horrific concussion. Vince McMahon left the show early to escort The Undertaker to the hospital, and Lesnar went with him. Lesnar's concern was that he wanted to get updates of The Undertaker's condition in place of going home early. Lastly, Brock Lesnar is an active participant of Make the Wish Come True Foundation. Many celebrities have partnered with Make-A-Wish to meet sick children who choose to spend time with them. John Cena is often heavily promoted by WWE as someone who does it for the promotion, but in reality many wrestlers do it, including Brock Lesnar. Since it doesn't exactly fit the image of Lesnar's as portrayed by wrestling, however, there are some videos and photos that show just how good Lesnar was at hosting these events. Love him or hate him, there's no denying the impact that Brock Lesnar has had on the world of professional wrestling. His unique blend of strength, skill, and charisma have cemented his status as one of the all-time greats. Whether he's delivering bone-crushing suplexes or cutting intense promos, Brock always leaves a lasting impression on fans and foes alike. So is Brock Lesnar good or evil? The truth is, he's a complex and multi-dimensional character who defies easy categorization. While he may have his flaws and his fair share of detractors, there's no denying that Brock is a once-in-a-generation talent who has left an indelible mark on the world of sports entertainment. Love him or hate him, Brock Lesnar will always be known as the Beast Incarnate. Thanks for tuning in, Fight fans, and remember to always expect the unexpected in the wild world of professional wrestling.